Today's talk is obviously called Movement in Medicine. Movement is medicine, because the whole reason that we even exist as a corporate, as Dynamic Body Tech, is to help other people, other businesses, not only our own, make healthier choices and healthier workforces. So that is the aim of today, is to bring about some education, bring about some excitement, and hopefully some habit changes. So just before we start, I wanted to ask everybody, it's just a bit of an icebreaker, a way to get to know you guys. And I think that this question is very telling. I think that it helps you kind of unpack people's desires or goals or things like that. If you could acquire any skill in the world, any skill at all, instantly, what would it be? Because mine would be being able to speak all the languages in the world for multiple reasons.
That's a good one. I would probably running.
Running?
I found as I got older, like I can't run anymore.
Fair enough.
I feel it's in my
Running,
knees.
that's actually a good one, because that is a skill. That really is a skill. And you?
I think, I don't know if it's a skill, but not to overthink so much.
That's a very good skill. God, I think we could all use that. Yeah. That's actually a really good one. Okay. So like I said, the reason why this is such a nice question is because that shows a goal of yours. But they're on opposite ends completely one's completely physical, one's mental. But if you think about it, they both kind of relate to the same thing of wellness, So yeah, I think it's a really interesting question to get to know people. And obviously, if there's more people around, it's fun to like bounce off, So just to start off, I wanted to discuss obviously what physical activity actually is. And according to the World Health Organization, it is any sort of body movements. It can be intentional or not. It doesn't have to necessarily be consciously going out to the gym to exercise. It's any skeletal like movements that use your muscles and kind of spend energy in your body. So they've defined it as all movements during leisure time for transport to get to and from places as part of a person's work. And it can be kind of mild exercise or more vigorous movements. That's kind of the general definition. So it is unintentional and intentional physical movements that help you, I guess, enhance your health. So there's obviously many reasons why physical activity is important. And I mean, you guys have heard about this since you were in school. It's like something you're always told is you need to be active, you need to do PE and do sports and do all these things. And the reason being is that physical activity helps you in so many ways. Not only does it help your mind and your brain and help develop you intellectually because it helps you focus, but it also prevents diseases like heart disease and obesity, strokes, diabetes, not only prevents these things, but it also helps them if they are something that you do acquire, which is really, really great. And on top of that, like I said earlier, the mental impact that physical activity can have on a person is just unmatched. And I think that is something that slowly the world is starting to realize, is that exercise and physical activity are for more than just looking good. It's about feeling good. It's about being able to go and conquer the next day, So my question is, do you guys know how much physical activity we as adults should be doing in a week or in a day, or any idea?
It's supposed to be more than 14 minutes.
That's true. That is true.
But I don't know if specifically. I mean, I think there's a
like statistic, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the World Health Organization says 14 minutes a day.
Fine. So as adults, we should be moving, not necessarily gymming or running or doing anything vigorous, but we should be moving and active, preferably most days of the week, if not all days of the week. But they've broken it down into more detailed options. So they say in a week, you should be doing 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity physical activity. So moderate activity is things like brisk walking or playing golf, mowing the lawn, things that aren't so intense. Or you can do 1.5 to 2.5 hours of vigorous intensity activities, which are things like jogging, running, cycling, your heavy lifting or cardio-based exercises. And when you look at it like that, it actually doesn't seem like very much, which I think is quite interesting. I think looking at it, you think 1.5 to 2 hours a day. There are people that go to the gym for 2 hours in one day. I mean, it's 1.5 to 2 hours a week. And do you know what I mean? It makes it almost seem achievable, which I really like. I think it's a nice structure to look at as a beginning point. So what I want to do is discuss what being active actually means to you guys, because obviously as individuals, you have different schedules. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen how different our schedules are, how hard it is to just meet up because we have such different lives. You know, we also have different responsibilities, different interests, things that I guess our bodies react well to and don't react well to. And the one thing, though, that I think we all have in common is the desire to always grow, whether that be physically, mentally, doesn't matter. And physical activity is one thing that can help us get there, regardless of the goal. And so where I'm going with this is that we have to remember that regardless of our personal circumstances, where we work, where we live, what our aims are each day, and like day in and day out, we need to be active. And we need to be active in a way that suits us best as individuals. And I think that is the problem, is that you saying, fantastic, you wish you could acquire the skill of running. In my mind, I can think of nothing worse. So that's something that I wish people could understand and learn, you know, the idea that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, find something that fits you. So why is this important, finding your thing? Well, I'm gonna tell you why anyway. So my favorite form of physical activity is going to the gym for maybe 30 to 40 minutes, doing some weightlifting and that. Does that interest you? Is that your favorite kind of physical activity?
I feel like I'm falling out of love with the gym. So I'm trying to figure out which my physical activity is.
Fine. And yours? Would you describe that as your like go-to?
No, I mean, the thing is, like, I think it's like a habit that you've got to start.
Fun.
And like we've started walking on a Sunday.
Yeah,
but that's the same Sunday. You know that.
Exactly.
Be there, so
exactly. Okay, fine. So that's quite a nice thing that neither of you agree completely that is your go-to thing, because that proves my point even further. And there are only a few of us sitting here. So what I need to ask you then is, what does it mean? What does being active mean to you? Okay. Can I ask you guys to do something? I'm going to read you a bunch of things. Will you just put your hand up if this is something that would interest you? Okay. What about yoga? Is that something that you have any desire to do?
I do.
Okay. What about boxing or any sort of jiu-jitsu? Fine. Fine. What about walking with your dogs? Okay. Fine. What about swimming? Yeah, same. Pilates, dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two have had completely opposite answers right now, which says, oh, Ane raised her hand. Yes, Ane. Yes, speak. Oh, I had to press allow to talk this whole time.
I think that's why she hasn't been talking.
Ane, I'm so sorry.
That's not a problem at all. I've just been too slow to respond when you initially asked your questions. I've just raised my hand to say where I was interested and wasn't interested. So thanks, Kelsey, for seeing.
Amazing. I'm so sorry. I did not know there was a talking permitted button, I will be honest. But anyway, we will know that for next time. Okay. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing being able to look around and say, okay, cool. I mean, we're just such a small group of people, but look at the different interests we have. And I mean, we have a lot in common in the way that we work, the things that we do, the routines that we have. So it just shows you that we can't be trying to get people to limit themselves to one or two types of exercises when they've never explored anything else. And obviously, with finding something that suits you best comes either success or a lack of success. The things that you do, the decisions you make, the kinds of exercise you do will basically impact the effectiveness it has on your life. So can you guys think of anything? Like if I were to say to you, okay, you just said you have no desire to do boxing. What if I said to you, okay, fine, but you have to? Do you think it would be impactful?
No.
Why?
Specifically because it's something I'm doing because I'm told to do it. I don't really want to do it.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like even if maybe it might make a difference physically, mentally, emotionally, I don't think it would really make a difference.
Because you don't want to be there.
The state of my head is just not there.
Exactly. Right. You have to do something you want to do. Otherwise, of course, it's going to become a chore or a job. Yeah. Right. So I've listed a couple of things here that I want to discuss, but the question here is, how does the type of physical activity you choose impact its effectiveness in regards to the following things? Okay. The first one is commitment. obviously, if you're doing something that you don't want to be doing, it's very hard to commit to it, and the whole point of doing physical activity is to ensure that long term it's something you can sustain. It's something that you can, I guess, work on growing. And if you can't commit to it because you're not enjoying it, what's the point? It's the same as a diet. What's the actual point if there's no commitment in sight? And that very much links to the next one, which is consistency. How on earth is someone expected to be consistent if they dread every second of whatever they are doing? It doesn't matter if it is work or if it is exercise or if it is some other element in their life. If you said to me, I have to go on a run and try and get consistent with it over a few weeks, I actually think I would cry, because it's just, I can think of nothing worse for me personally, It also impacts the enjoyment levels and the benefits you have mentally and physically, because think about it. If you are enjoying something and if you are really feeling like this is for you, you're going to put in more effort. You're going to put in more of your time, energy, consistency, those things, which means you'll reap the rewards, whether it be mentally or physically or emotionally or spiritually. It actually affects everything. So you will reap the rewards when you are doing something that you enjoy. That quote that says, if you do what you love every day for the rest of your life, you'll never be working a day, or something along those lines. It's the same idea. So I just think it is so important for us to find what suits us best, because we're all so different, and it's crazy. So the next slide, as you can see, the question that is posed says, but how do I find my ideal? How do we go about doing that? And you mentioned something really great earlier, Abs, that you're still trying to figure it out. You like testing and trying, and that's the first point here, is to be experimental. If you have a gym contract, go to different gym classes or go for a walk around the block and see if that piques your interest more than maybe walking on a treadmill, or try out some new stretching by following a at-home video on YouTube. You can do so many things just at your own house with YouTube and internet access, which is fantastic. You can also then, I guess, navigate your way through different things like strength or cardiovascular training, or whether it be flexibility or balance training. You can find what your niche thing is, which is really, really fun. The next step is to identify what kind of exercise actually makes you feel good, whether it be physically or mentally. There's also, again, no point in you going for a run if, for me, I have bad knees. If I go for a run, I actually, again, might end up crying, not only because I'm not enjoying myself, but because my knees will be sore, So again, that's something you need to identify. Maybe yoga for you would be amazing and you'd learn so many new things, but maybe it would also just make you feel really good, and that goes for mentally, feeling mentally well as well. The last thing is to identify the types of exercise that complement your lifestyle. So now you are both very, very busy people, and so is Anne. So that's a really good example. So what could be nice is that I know you're not at the office every day. So what kind of exercise can you do at home? What kind of exercise can you do when you're also at the office? How do you find that middle ground of, okay, I'm a busy person. Sometimes I'm in that area. Sometimes I'm in this area. Where do I gym? Where do I find this? Where can I go for a run? You need to find something that complements your lifestyle in both, in terms of time and your actual time management, and also just in the way that you live and the way that it impacts you and your health. You don't want to be spending 2 hours at the gym every afternoon when you don't have 2 hours to spend. What's the point of leaving work in a rush to go to the gym? You haven't eaten, you have to change in a rush when you get there to make sure you can train before they close. That doesn't fit into your lifestyle. That's not exercise fitting in. That's you really just squishing it in there and making sure you get it done, which I guess works for some people, but not for me. So yeah. So the next slide, it has a little quote that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is something I think is really, really important, changing our perspectives and perceptions of things. So what I want us to think about now is the fact that we are all fairly healthy people. We might have, listen, we all have our issues, but I want to be able to say, because we can get up and come to the office, we are blessed in a way that we can move our bodies and do certain things that some other people maybe can't. And being able to move our bodies in this way is a blessing. And I feel like, we need to take advantage of this ability we have. I think it's something we consider such a basic ability, but it's something that is so amazing. To be able to wake up and get out of bed without even thinking about it and go do whatever we need to do in the day, that's a blessing, And we need to be able to appreciate this. We need to be able to, like I said, take advantage of it in order to, I guess, appreciate exercise and challenging our bodies in that way. But we can't do that if we have negative perceptions towards exercise. If you think about it, you have to have a positive perspective and a positive perception. So this is a challenge that I want you guys to do. And it doesn't have to be only in terms of physical activity. It can be in terms of anything. Instead of going, oh, I have to do this thing today, it's no, I get to do this thing today. I get to go, not, oh, I have to go, for example, me earlier, I have to go and tutor. No, I get to go and tutor. I get to go and help a matric student who needs my help, right? Not it's inconvenience. It's a blessing. Once again, it's a blessing that I can go to gym later. I know it may be cool. I've had a busy day and I'm going to be exhausted, but it's a blessing. I get to go and do something that I love, something that I know will make me feel better. And instead of saying, oh, but it's a mission, I have to go there and then I have to go there. And then you say, yeah, it might be a mission, but it's also productive. It's something that's good for me. Just trying to, I don't like using the word manipulate, but it is, trying to manipulate our brain into perceiving these things, which are actually really good things, as good things, rather than jobs or chores or, that is the first step, in my opinion, to changing your entire life around. I really do think it is. And it goes for everything. So have a little activity for you guys to do. In groups of 4 to 5, that's all of us. I want you guys to brainstorm and come up with an idea or a concept that could be used to implement physical activity into the workplace. Okay. It doesn't have to be something as extravagant as sunset yoga after work, but it can be, or it can be something so simple, something that you can do while you're sitting at your desk. And I want you guys to write it down. You can type it, you can write it on your phones, and then you're going to present it to the group. And we're going to just have a little bit of a discussion about which one of these we actually all feel like we could use. So yeah, that was the activity. I don't know if you want to discuss it.
Yeah, we can discuss it. I feel like for us, what I've noticed is that when we have lunch, we sit on our desks, we'll continue on with work or be scrolling on our phone. I think it would be a good thing to actually come out of the office. We have such great communal spaces. Be in one of those spaces, actually take in the moment, have your lunch, not have any, technological gadget in front of you, relax your eyes, relax your mind, I feel like that's kind of what we need to take a break.
100%. That's a really good idea.
And I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I think one of the things we struggle with is people have their own personal boundaries as well. They don't want to necessarily, just because the company is doing something doesn't mean that you have to go and do it. And it's trying to find that balance, paintball. We've done paintball. We did paintball last year. So we did paintball 2 years ago. Some people loved it. Raquel hated it with passion. Others had an absolute ball with it. But you try and find a way that you'll navigate. People say, okay, this isn't just a chore. And it was done on a Saturday as well. But the point about actually splitting out from a work day and actually allocating time to just unplug, because I think we sit. I've been going since 1:30 this morning. You sit there. All you've done is stare at a screen for what is effectively 18. What are we at? 18 hours now. You get tired, and it's not healthy. But it's just the way.
It's just you have to work like that, yeah.
So I think those are the two challenges I see. I don't know. And if you've got any thoughts about how you go and split up the working day.
So I think not just in how to split up the working day per se. I think it is really important to split up the working day. I've had that discussion the other day in the office where I think we should actually prioritize downtime into our working day quite deliberately. So I agree with you, Mark. But something else, I think we can also be more active in the way that we just go about our daily lives. For instance, if we know that we're in the office or you are sitting in front of your screen, you are going to also get up and go and fetch water. So why not every time when you get up from your chair, just go and sit 3 more times and get up again without noticing you're basically doing lunches. And like when you come to sit down, before you actually go to sit down, like just stand up 3 times again and then you go to sit down. So I think there's actually clever ways like that that you can also like do things that helps you to be more active without having to necessarily prioritize like exercise or like plan exercise into your day. And I think it's also, if you're in a corporate environment, like if you're in an office, like an open space office, it can become like a game. If someone gets up and they didn't stand up 3 times when they had to get up, like let them like
Yeah.
put something in a jar, or
Yeah.
like give them a strike against their name or whatever.
Actually,
So I
so
think it
funny.
can actually be like a game of, you can gamify it in the sense that it also becomes fun to be more active in your actual like work day.
It's actually a really good idea. It's actually a really, really good idea.
I've got a bunch of 5 kilo, the 5 kilo
Weights.
dumbbells for all these Teams meetings that you sit through.
And you just start doing bicep curls. That's so funny. But that's a really good point. It's simple things like that I mean, they seem so simple, but they can make such a difference. You know, that will help you reach your step targets or your movement targets for the day, you know, on those Apple watches with the rings. It will help you complete your rings. And that's actually a really good idea, you know, because I was thinking things as well, like when you have a meeting. So say Mark calls you guys in for a meeting and you know it's going to be maybe like a 20-minute, half an hour thing. Out of all the meetings in the day, decide, okay, cool, let's have one where we go and walk around outside. Let's, even if you're not walking viciously the entire time, just standing up, going outside, getting some fresh air, and maybe just walking a little bit of it, then you go sit and have your coffee, and you know, things like that. Things like walking meetings, or if you having your cup of coffee, go for a walk, go sit outside again, get some fresh air, because those are the things that I guess can be implemented in an office block such as this. You know, often, I mean, there's so many big extravagant things you can do. Like I said, sunset yoga on the beautiful grass outside, but that's not a maintainable goal to have all the time because of how busy corporate life is. You know, it's one of the busiest kinds of jobs you can work. The hours are crazy, the expectations are very high, and there's so many things you have to achieve in a day. So being able to do things like that maybe once in a while is like a special thing, could be really cool. Even if it's yoga during a quieter day, when you know you're expecting a quieter day, you know, going and getting some fancy yoga instructor in to sit and guide some meditation, or, you know, there's so many different ways we can do this, but I really like those ideas, and they're all completely different, which is really nice.
Cool.
So the next thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, do any of you track your steps?
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't.
I know, do you?
At the moment, my fitness watch is off next to me, not even on my arm. So I think it's safe to say no, not consciously.
Okay, fine. So the reason I'm asking you guys this is because so many of us do track our steps. I mean, I'm not at the moment either, but I have in the past. And it's such a basic way and a healthy way, in my opinion, to track some sort of health goal, if that makes sense. You know, people track their calories and they track every food that they eat. And in my opinion, that can become a bit toxic or a bit concerning if things get too hectic. However, if you are trying to do something like track your steps, you're tracking physical activity, you're pushing yourself to do something good. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen my mom look at a watch and it's maybe 11 o'clock at night, and then next thing I just hear footsteps up and down because she's trying to get her steps in. And although it is strange and ridiculous, good for her, she's getting more steps in at 11 o'clock at night. And it's just a nice way as well, whether it's in your office or at home. I think it's just a nice way to promote your health goals. So my next question was, how many of you have met your step goals for the day? Well, you're the only one that's tracking, so have you?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Brilliant. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. But still, that's a good thing. You know, at least something good came out of it. You met your step goals, and it's only what, two 2:30,
Yeah.
3 o'clock, you know. So the last thing that I just want to close with is an idea that I had, which is going to be called our office step incentive. Okay. So I thought it could be an office block wide, you know, all four of us, an office block wide incentive where the goal is to reach 10,000 steps each per day. And you can do this. I mean, you can go to the gym, or you can go for your run, or you can just do it in your leisure activities every day, but trying to reach 10,000 steps a day. So I found an amazing app. It's called Stride Kick, and it's on the Apple Store, it's on the Google Play Store, and it's free. And I have created a challenge for us, and we can maybe reach out to other people and see if they'd be interested in competing with us. And what it does is every day it will track, because it's on your phone, so you keep it in your pocket, and it tracks your steps and stuff as you walk. And what happens is, say there's the four of us on it, it's going to rank us on a leadership board. And basically, my idea was by the 24th of April, which is tomorrow a month, we can go and see who the winner is, who has actually achieved their goal the most times, who will be on the top of the leaderboard. And whoever does get it would get a little incentive prize, which would be a personal trainer certified workout guide, the 4-week workout guide, which can be used at the gym and at home, a gift voucher, and bragging rights, you know, all four of us. So yeah, that was a little idea I had, because I think it could be really cool, especially if we can get more people on board. You know, I think it could be really cool. You know, people, like what Anae said about making things a bit more fun. You know, you'll see people just before they leave work, like quickly running up and down the garden, or who knows, you know, it could be really, really fun. And I think it's also a nice way to get to know people in the block, especially if we get them involved in it. So this is what it looks like. It's just a little app, and it's really cool. I can send you guys the information and share the link with you. Just join. It's all free. And yeah, it will just rank our steps, which I think will be really, really fun. So that is why, in my opinion, movement is medicine, because it will firstly help us achieve all of our daily goals. It will help us achieve all of our greatest desires and wishes, you know, in the world, whether they be physical goals or employment goals. Really, everything we do can be improved by the physical activity and the physical health that we have. So thank you all for joining us today, and yeah, appreciate it.